Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This infringement of copyright is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody. The Satanic Illuminati news is an example of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody. I'll try and be briefer today. We are once again using a network news feed, so we all know what to expect. And indeed, the first 4 stories fall into the same category of divide and conquer. I've said before that Donald Trump is a completely unacceptable character as president. And most of the country feels that way. Liberals, conservatives, left, right, whatever you want to call them. Most people recognize an asshole when they see it. How did we get this president? Well, I can only think of one way. Powers that be, the Satanic Illuminati, wanted the most divisive figure possible at the head of our state. Why? Well, the easier to divide and conquer you with, my dear. So, will you stand with ABC News and mainstream media in general against Donald Trump, trying at every turn to delegitimize his presidency by demonizing things that every incoming president do? Such as, the incoming Secretary of State calling other heads of state on the phone? Such as White House staff calling and having meetings with business leaders and other power players inside Washington, D.C.? I mean, isn't this the kind of thing that every president and every administration does upon entering office? Of course. Why is this one being demonized? Only one reason. To polarize the minds of the population. To make him so unacceptable that you will either be on his side because you're sick of everything and you think an unacceptable person is the best choice because it'll bring this house of cards down, basically like a big middle finger, a big fuck you to the establishment, which is what Donald Trump is. Or, do you consider him? Are you going to stand against Donald Trump? All 4 of these stories serve the same purpose: to solidify your position on one side or the other. If you're still a Republican or a Democrat or even a conservative or a liberal, you have some homework to do. I talked some about Russia yesterday. You know how I feel about the saturation coverage of Russia in the news media. I think it's a psyop. It's only effective because how stupid most people are. Stupid to believe in 2012 that Russia's not a threat. As a matter of fact, to suggest that Russia's a threat was a joke. And in 4 short years later, Very same people claiming Russia is our greatest threat. Come on, wake up. You're not that stupid, I hope. I guess I should address this trend in news, which goes back all the way to the early 1970s, which is whether or not something is newsworthy, if it's sensational enough, it'll be on the news. For instance, why is this news? Semi-trucks collide. Why is that news when there are thousands of car wrecks every day? Why? Because there's video of it. Why is this rock slide news? Because there's video of it. Now, perhaps I'm not wise enough to see behind these news stories and understand the nature of the psyop, besides general fear-mongering. But it is obviously fear-mongering. And combined with the spell cast upon you in the alpha state of watching electronic video medium, it becomes very powerful. They want you to watch this. Oh my God. My daughter lives in the path of this hurricane, so I have been keeping my eyes on it. It has certainly been all over the news, even though it's not that strong of a hurricane. The path they have projected for the hurricane is to come ashore here and then to take a drastic right-hand turn and cross the Gulf Coast. Now, I don't know about you, but every path I've ever seen from any weather station or weather reporting science always projects the path of a hurricane as an ellipse of some kind. You know, it goes in a big curve. Hurricanes don't make 90 or actually be greater than 90-degree sharp right-hand turns and then just head across the country. So what if this one does? I mean, what if it actually follows their projected path? What does that say? Are we then to look at HAARP? Radio waves they emit and bounce off the ionosphere to direct this hurricane? I mean, I am just as skeptical of conspiracy theories as I am the mainstream media, and I find that a bit hard to swallow. That man actually has the power to control the weather. Now, I know there's tons of evidence to say that it's true. All you got to do is watch Frankenskies, and you will be a believer unless you hold on to your skepticism. But I just find it hard to believe. It sounds like a psyop to me. It sounds like they want you to believe that someone on Earth has the power to control the weather, but I'm just not convinced. So, let's keep our eyes on this hurricane. If it does make a 95-degree turn and head straight across the Gulf Coast, then I'll have to rethink that, because that would be unnatural behavior by a force of nature, and therefore would, by definition, have to involve man-made intervention or control. I'm just not ready to believe it, but I am certainly open-minded about it. This poor, poor woman. How long will it take the laughing smile to be wiped from her face as she realized that what she thought was her dreams coming true was actually the beginning of a nightmare? I feel sorry for her. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Who the fuck cares? If you have been brainwashed into believing that our national monuments, no matter what they are, should be taken down in the name of political correctness, then you are a fucking moron. Read 1984. I was introduced to the idea that my favorite movie of all time, 1975 Jaws by Steven Spielberg, was actually a psyop and a pre-programming and satanic Illuminati preparation. Because, as the scariest movie ever made, one of my favorite YouTube channels by KJ Osborne is constantly pointing out, the shark is actually a symbol of the beast and the beast system and the arrival of the Antichrist. And it's a fact. Shark attacks are up worldwide, especially in the United States. What does that say? I don't know. I really don't. Somehow, there seems to be a mixing of these satanic Illuminati manipulations into the natural world, and I just don't get it. I refuse to believe that they actually have some sort of mystical power. So, what's up with that? Why are shark attacks up? Could it be these are all part of the great planetary changes are approaching? They knew and have known exactly what was going to happen, so they're prepared. They can put out the information a little bit ahead of time so that they seem so wise and prophetic in hindsight. Or is it all just made up? Is it not true? Is it just something fabricated by the news media to fit their script? I don't know. I really don't. I'm still searching. Donald Trump's family is basically Jewish. I don't care about that. I don't care about race or religion. But they are Zionist Jews who are intent upon making what they see as God's will happen here on earth, fulfilling the promises of Revelation is their purpose. So, do I find it comforting that he's headed over to get so-called peace in the Middle East? No. As a matter of fact, I think just the opposite. I think they are telling us the opposite of what is really going on. I don't think Jared Kushner wants peace in the Middle East at all. He wants the armies amassed around Israel. He wants Revelation to come true. He thinks he's doing God's work, I guess. I don't know. Or Satan's work. By the way, most of these celebrities, when they refer to God and they point up and they beat their chest and they show the 666, they're not talking about God as we talk about it. Our Father in heaven, Yahweh, or whatever. No, they're talking about Satan, the ruler of this world, Lucifer. You can even see Lady Gaga say, "I swear to Lucifer," on some late night talk show. Come on. Now, I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in Lucifer. But I believe these morons do. You need to wake up to that fact. I've talked many times already about how quickly Donald Trump simply reversed everything he said. Hillary Clinton was going to go to jail. Mexico was going to pay for the border wall. We weren't going to allow people to just immigrate willy-nilly into our country anymore. We were going to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Every single thing he has gone back 180 degrees upon. Repeal? No, just leave it. Bring an end to the unjust wars in the Middle East? No, step them up. Send Hillary Clinton to jail? No, give her a pat on the back and say she fought a good campaign. Why aren't you Trump people disgusted? Because you're brainwashed and mind-controlled. Wake up. I'm sorry, that's all I can do today. This is making me feel sick.